Anarchy is an idea that means no rulers or no government. It comes from the Greek word anarchia, which means without a leader. Anarchy is based on the belief that people can organise themselves without a government telling them what to do. Instead of having leaders or strict laws, anarchists believe in voluntary cooperation and mutual aid, where people help each other because they want to, not because they are forced to. Anarchy is not the same as chaos, although it is often misunderstood that way. Supporters of anarchy argue that people can live peacefully and fairly without the need for a government. There are different types of anarchy, each focusing on specific ideas about how society should work. Political anarchy involves rejecting governments and creating communities where decisions are made collectively. For example, in the 19th century, anarchist thinkers like Emma Goldman advocated for a society where people would work together to meet everyone's needs without relying on a central authority. Social anarchy focuses on building relationships and communities based on equality and cooperation, rather than power and hierarchy. An example of this is mutual aid networks, where people pool their resources to support each other during disasters or crises. Anarcho-syndicalism is another type of anarchy that focuses on workers organising themselves without bosses or corporations. In the early 20th century, labour unions like the industrial workers of the world used anarcho-syndicalist ideas to fight for fair wages and better working conditions. These types of anarchy show that it is not just about rejecting authority, but also about finding alternative ways to organise society. One strength of anarchy is its emphasis on freedom and equality. Anarchists believe that everyone should have an equal say in decisions that affect them, rather than being controlled by a small group of leaders or wealthy individuals. This focus on equality can lead to fairer systems where people are treated with respect. Anarchy also encourages cooperation and creativity. Without a rigid government structure, people are free to come up with new solutions to problems and work together in ways that benefit everyone. For example, during natural disasters, communities often organise themselves quickly to provide food and shelter without waiting for government help. Another strength of anarchy is its ability to challenge unjust systems. By rejecting authority, anarchists question systems that create inequality, such as corrupt governments or unfair economic practices. While anarchy has its strengths, it also faces significant criticisms. One major criticism is that without a government or laws, society could become disorganised and unsafe. Critics worry that without clear rules, people might act selfishly or violently, leading to chaos. Another criticism is that anarchy might not work well in large or complex societies. For example, coordinating transportation, healthcare, or education for millions of people might require some form of leadership and planning. Critics also argue that anarchy assumes people will always act fairly and cooperatively. But history shows that power struggles and conflicts often arise even in small groups. Finally, opponents of anarchy point out that completely eliminating governments might leave vulnerable groups, like children or the elderly, without protection or support. While anarchy offers one vision of a leaderless society, there are alternatives that aim to address some of the same concerns. Democracy allows people to have a say in how they are governed through voting and representation, providing both freedom and structure. Socialism focuses on reducing inequality by giving the community control over resources and industries, while still maintaining some form of government to organise large-scale efforts. Decentralisation is another alternative that combines elements of anarchy and government by spreading power across smaller, local communities, instead of concentrating it in one central authority. These alternatives aim to balance the desire for freedom and equality with the need for organisation and stability, offering different ways to address the challenges that anarchy seeks to solve.